News 46. Local coverage you can count on.
Welcome back to the Righteous Rock Show. Here we are again today with Bill Menchen, his second time with us in the studio. How you been?
Well, you know, it could be better, it could be worse. I'm still standing.
Excellent, excellent. What's been going on? What have you been working on?
You know, a lot of super secret, uptight stuff. At the request of management, I ended up we kind of reworking a bunch of older tunes from Redeemer and Rev 7. And Robert's doing some wild drumming on it and stuff. And, you know, it's actually coming out pretty good. We're putting a lot of work into it. I don't know really where it's all going to end up. We're going to find out the hard way eventually soon.
Cool, cool. And another thing I wanted to talk about, you're getting ready to get a new website up, right?
Yeah, BillMenchen.com's been up for a while, but it's been pretty basic. We just never wanted to throw money into the hole, and but pretty soon, I think within just probably a day or two right now, it's going to be a decent website. People can get any merchandise we have right off the website. If they got PayPal, they can just point and click, and boom, 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 it's all going to be there. And I've seen the basic structure of it. I haven't seen the finished version of it, but it's really killer. So people go to a great site. It's at BillMenchen.com. And,
cool. And I know that your wife handles the publicity and the merchandise for you?
Yeah, she's doing some of that. You know, just a lot of the legwork and stuff.
And that's, we'll put that up. That's P.O. Box 32021, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89173. Or email at, how do you pronounce that?
TerryDeTorres@gmail.com. That's TerryDeTorres. TerryDeTorres@gmail.com.
Cool, cool. And so, what's it like? When did you and Robert meet, and how's that whole thing been going?
Well, actually, it's kind of hard to believe we've already known each other for 15 years. You know, time is unfortunately flying by way too fast. But we've had a lot of fun. We met in 1996. He was just kind of hanging around our group for a little while. We had that group Titanic. We were actually playing some gigs, and he came by to see us a couple of times. And you know, the group kind of drifted apart, and so you know, Robert was around, and some of the guys were around. We ended up doing a few demos and stuff, and not a lot. We didn't do too much, you know. And we played like one show with him somewhere, and a few years later, you know, fast forward up to around 2005, you know. Retroactive Records had me putting a couple of new records together, and Robert was around. He lived in Vegas at that time, which is where he lives now, not too far from me. And since then, we've played a whole bunch of stuff together. You know, he's on almost everything I've done. There's a few albums that he's not on, but you never know. He might put them on those one of these days.
Cool, cool. And that brings us to, what you want to come jump in on this interview, Robert?
Me? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to.
Cool.
All right. Okay.
Drummer man.
All right. I'm back.
He has to play his own drum roll to stand to.
Yeah. We'll try to throw something in, maybe some audience applause, you know, and some whistles.
Whatever
and stuff.
you like, man.
We'll spice it up a bit. So, I know that you had touched on it before in the other interview about working with Bill, but you know, did you want to add anything, maybe some, you know, a story or, you know, a time that you guys got together? I know both wives are, you know, both families enjoyed hanging out, and
Oh, of course.
It's really been
We always have a blast hanging out together, and you know, him and I had no idea that when we met 15 years ago, when he pulled up on the front lawn of someone's house where I was standing on the front porch, and I thought the guy was going to hit the front porch, and I didn't know that years later we would have tracked over 150 songs together. But it's a lot of fun when we, you know, when we record. I gotta say, it's some of the funnest times I've ever had in the recording studio. It truly, truly is. And you know, who knows what the future holds? I'm sure some good things that happen in the future, but it's been a lot of fun, and you know, Bill's more like a brother than a friend.
That's awesome. Now, I know that the album that I really enjoy is from the Redeemer time is the Redeemer album AD. And I know that you guys been working on redoing some of the tunes from the Redeemer catalog. You guys want to talk a little bit about that, or?
Well, his mother picked all the tunes, and I looking at the list of tunes that she picked, she was right. She picked all the best ones. Looking back on it, and so I just said, yeah, just point and click, and she gave us a big list of stuff, and I kind of got the tracks in some shape, and Robert came in and beat the heck out of my drums, and it's coming out really good. We've been putting a lot of work into it. I'm not sure where it's all going to end up and what God's going to do with it, but we're just sowing some seeds of faith there, I guess, with guitars and drums.
I gotta say, my mom is a great manager. She was managing Stryper for so many years, and now she's managing Bill, and she does a great job. And I'm so glad she's hooked up with Bill, because I know that's a good thing. It's gonna head it in the right direction.
We have a lot of fun with Robert's parents. It's like a big family now. We're practically family with Robert and his immediate family, and now it just got bigger because we've really gotten closer to Janice and Phil over the last couple of years, and just have a blast together.
Yeah, we were really blessed by that interview that Janice and Phil did with us here, and I know the Righteous Rock Nation and all the Stryper fans really were blessed by that as well, that have seen that on the website and on YouTube. Well, again, thanks, man, for coming out. It's just a huge blessing, man, and I know God's doing big things with everyone. Robert had talked about him in the previous interview, and you've mentioned people that have, like your cousin Bruce, who's worked with you and just been, a really cool.
And he's been a really big blessing for us in the past few months. I forgot to mention that on all these tracks that we've been doing lately, he's doing the bass. As a matter of fact, he's still tracking some bass right now, and he's really adding a tremendous a flavor to it that it didn't have. He's changing every song as well. So with having both him and Robert jumping in on it there, it's really turning the music into something that it wasn't before, that people liked. And I know a lot of people do like that earlier music.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And it's kind of funny that in the last 6 or 7 months, people have been telling me how much they like a lot of the earlier Redeemer and Rev 7, and ironically, here we are tracking a bunch.
Yeah,
of
that
sounds
album
way
is
better than it ever did.
Yeah, that album is I can play that album start to finish, that Redeemer album. And then I know, Robert, you did some work with Bruce on DTS
yes.
stuff.
A lot of fun. Good stuff.
That stuff sounds really cool. Only You Can Choose is a really killer track, and I know he's getting ready to release like a 16-song or album or something.
It's a 16-song album. The DTS stuff it's really eerie how much it sounds like Stryper, and it sounds a lot more like them even with Robert playing the drums, of course, and Bruce sounds incredibly like Mike.
Yeah.
And it's a great album of really uplifting music. It is people are just going to love it when it comes out, and I think it's probably going to be available in the next month or two. I think he's hoping to have it out.
Cool.
We're cranking out the family of musicians here, getting ready to crank out a lot of tunes.
If you could say one thing out there to all the young aspiring musicians out there, what would be the one thing that you could say, the thing that you found out wasn't always so great, or maybe what it was built up as wasn't always necessarily what it comes to be? Is there one thing that you could say, like, hey, keep it in the house, keep it close to your heart, or
Well, music is a lot tougher than a lot of people think that it is. It's a hard job, it really is. But if it's something you love from the heart, do it with all the passion that you have, and do it to the best of your ability. Try to be as different as you can, and you know what? Send some prayers up to God in heaven, because you'll find how much that helps.
Yeah, it really does. And see, and even if you're going to hit your cheeks, you got to do it musically.
Sure.
Like
of course, skillfully.
That was pretty creative, as a matter of fact. It's full of that kind of stuff.
Well,
you just never know what's going to come next.
Well, we'll just keep rolling with the film then.
If I was going to give advice to anybody that was going to play anything, you know, a lot of people get to the end of their lives and they say, well, I don't have any regrets. Nonsense. I got tons of regrets. You know, I wish I would have stayed even truer to everything that I'd ever thought musically, not just spiritually, but musically and playing music. Don't be affected by trends. Don't worry about how good the guitar player down the street plays or whatever instrument you're looking at. Find an instrument that you love and play it the way that you love it and stick with it. And don't worry about the trends because they all come and go. Just like clothing, music comes and goes. And right now we're kind of in a strange place in history where I don't know if there's any one dominant music on the scene, really, that people are just listening to everything and anything. And just find something you like and do it, and just stick true to it, and don't be intimidated by other people.
Yeah, it sure is a big change, like Robert was sharing about how they went in and they retracked some tunes from the past, and the technology is unbelievable now, you know. All the pickups sound killer on the guitars, the drumsticks are a little bit more meatier, you know, the drum heads don't break as easily, you know, everything. The strings last longer.
When he hits them, they still break.
They still break.
The strings last longer, you know, you can track in stuff in your home now with Pro Tools.
Well, plus, you just, you know, you learn so much over the years, you know, after you've done it so often, you live and learn. And so, anyways, good days ahead.
Definitely. And again, appreciate it, Bill and Robert, for coming out to the show. And second time for you, Robert, and we're hoping many more times for both of you and you too, Robert, as well.
Okay, buddy. Thank you.
Thanks again.